welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I wanted to go through and do a breakdown of my makeup inventory. So a couple weeks ago I decided that I would put everything in an Excel spreadsheet and just kind of take a look at my numbers and make some goals and look at what categories I'm trying to narrow down. Skincare is definitely a big one, but I will talk about that a little bit more going forward. I have, partially due to pandemic and a bunch of other reasons, I have definitely expanded my makeup inventory a lot more than I necessarily expected to this year, and I definitely don't regret that. I think it's something that brings me a lot of joy, and I think especially now that I am at home all the time, it helps bring a little bit of definition to each day. So I definitely don't regret that, but I know that I am going to have to change my spending habits going into this year for a bunch of different reasons. The main one is that I have student loans now, and I'm very fortunate that I have made it this far in my undergraduate career without having to go into debt. But now that I owe the government money, I feel like I really do need to zero in and be a lot more cognizant of my spending on things that aren't strict essentials, so rent and food and bills essentially. Okay, hi, so I'm editing and I realized that I made it sound a little bit like I'm an overspender, which I'm not. I've been on such a strict budget for so long that I'm very intentional and strategic about things that I buy, and I definitely was not out here spending beyond my means or going ham or anything like that, so I just wanted to clarify that. So that's the main thing. So basically, like so many others who went a little bit wild, probably as a way to cope with pandemic stress, I'm going to be placing myself on a replacement only no-buy at least until the end of the winter semester, which, because I'm in Canada, is going to be, we're going to call that the end of April. So I do know that I am going to have to pick up a new mascara at some point in the next few months whenever mine gets to a point where I can't use it anymore. And I'm probably also going to have to purchase a slightly darker concealer, because if you saw my last video, you will know that I failed to shade match myself correctly and I'm looking a little bit reverse raccoony, so I definitely am not about to return that concealer. I think it's workable. I think I'm just going to have to hit up the drugstore and find something a little bit darker that I can mix it with in order to make it a better shade match for my skin. So those are the only two things that I really foresee myself spending money on for the next semester, and then what I decide to do over the summer, I guess, will depend on my job situation. I'm really hoping that funding will come through for a research associate position in the lab that I'm working in, but I have no idea and I'm not holding my breath on that, so we will see. Yeah, so that's just sort of how I'm going to be doing things for the next couple of months and how that's going to affect, I guess, my numbers. So having said that, I'm going to pop you guys over to my Excel spreadsheet and we will go a little bit more in depth. So I'm going to start off by going over my color coding. So I use this reddy orange color to denote items that I have prioritized for finishing first. So right now that's at 22 items. Then my chopping block items, of which there are only 3, are this yellow. So that's things that I am considering decluttering, and I'm just sort of trying to decide if there's anybody in my life that I can pass them along to or not. And then I have my watch list in yellow, so I have 7 of those. And those are items that I would like to get more use out of or finish up, but they're not top priority, but they would probably be future project pan roll-ins. Then my core collection is in green, and those are items that I enjoy using and don't have any interest with, that are still fairly new, that I'm just trying to enjoy without having any attempt to finish them up or focus on them. Then I have my project pan items in blue, so those are things that are currently in projects. Then I have my backup items in this blue-gray, and I think I only have 1 of those on the go. So let's go to the top and start with my skincare. So I currently have 3 cleansers, 6 serums, and 2 moisturizers for a total of 11 items. So skincare definitely expanded for me this year. I decided lockdown was a good time to try to figure out a skincare routine for myself that went a little bit deeper than, I wash my face and then I put moisturizer on it, because that wasn't really doing it for me, and discovered The Ordinary and went a little wild. Also, I definitely underestimated how long it was going to take me to go through a 30 ml bottle. So I definitely have a surplus. So I have 3 items that I'm working on finishing up and that I don't intend to repurchase. So by the end of the year, I would like to get things down to 2 cleansers, 1 moisturizer, 2 serums, and an antioxidant, probably a vitamin C, so 6 items total. And then for my skin products, I have three. I have a foundation, a tinted moisturizer, and the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil Setting Powder. So I would totally be fine with finishing up both of the liquid items, and I'm pretty close to finishing up the NARS Radiant Tinted Moisturizer and having just the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil, especially with masks being a thing and my skin being pretty well behaved. These days, I don't really feel like foundation is the step that I need or want to be doing. So I would be fine with having this down to 1 or 2. Maybe if I get back to in-person classes, I might purchase a foundation, but that's a pretty big maybe. So for blushes, I have 4. I have 1 cream and 3 powders. I am trying to finish up the ColourPop Super Shock cream blush, and then after that's gone, which hopefully will be February, March, I'm just going to focus on my 3 powder blushes until the end of the semester, and then I do have a few cream products that I am sort of eyeing to get in some colors that I don't already own, so I could see this expanding, but only to a maximum of 6. So my highlighters also got a little bit out of control this year. I do really enjoy a good highlighter, so I am pretty close to finishing the Mary Luminizer. I was hoping to have it done by now, but I definitely still have probably a few months worth of use out of it, but I do definitely want to decrease this. I do have the Kat Von D Alchemist palette, which I have counted each pan individually, so technically I have 5 highlighters and a palette, but it comes out to 9 total. Like I said, I definitely plan on finishing the Mary Luminizer within the next few months, and then I'm going to work on the Wet n Wild Mega Glow liquid, so hopefully I'll be able to get this down to 6 or 7 by the end of the year. Then for concealers, I have 2. I have the CoverGirl Cover Stick, which is in Project Pan, and I'm pretty close to finishing that, and then I did purchase the Rare Beauty Liquid Touch concealer, so that is brand new and I don't see that going anywhere. Also, there's a ton of product in there, so I do feel like I only really need 1 concealer, so once I get the CoverGirl Cover Stick, I'm probably not going to replace that and just focus on using up the Rare Beauty one. So for brows, I don't really do a whole lot to mine, so I don't really see this changing a whole lot. I have 1. This will probably be 1 by the end of the year, although when I finish the Essence Brow Gel in the next few months, I probably will replace it, just because I like it when my brows don't move. And then for eye bases, I have 3. Technically 1 is an eyeliner, but I do use the Jumbo Eye Stick by NYX as a base, especially for pastel looks or more lighter looks. So I'm pretty close to finishing the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, so I could definitely decrease this down to 2, and then I do want to finish up the NYX Jumbo Eye Stick at some point in the future. I could see this going down to 1 everyday eyeshadow primer, and then maybe a glitter glue, but I'm unlikely to buy glitter glue until I get to a point where I'm actually interacting with people face to face again, and who knows when that'll be. So for eyeliners, I only have 1 right now, and I could see this expanding to 2 or 3. I would like at some point to get a waterproof liner for tightlining my upper waterline, and maybe also a nude eyeliner for my lower waterline, just to help me look a little bit more awake. But again, I really don't want to see this expand to more than 2 or 3 by the end of the year. So for mascara, I'm generally only have 1 open at a time and use it until it dries out, or the 6-month mark, whichever comes first. So I don't see this changing too much, although I probably will have to repurchase mascara in a couple of months. Then for eyeshadow palettes, I have 9 on the go right now for a total of 96 total pans and a pan percentage of 6 1/4. I think I have 7 pans in my collection right now. I do have 2 more pans that I'm trying to hit in the Tartelette in Bloom palette, and then after that I will declutter that, and that will drop my pan percentage down to 0. So I do have, if you notice here, I do have a Tartelette in Bloom declutter date, so I can kind of, I guess, track like when my pan percentage drops from 6-7% down to 0 again. And then I do have a few more things on the wish list, but nothing that I need or want urgently, so I definitely want to spend the next few months just enjoying and working on what I have before I bring anything else in. So the earliest I think you guys will see new palette purchases would be this summer if I have a job. Yeah, I have set myself a max of 15 palettes for the next year, but if it gets above like 11 or 12, I would be surprised. Then for lip liners, this is another one that I would be totally okay with finishing up. I don't really use them, and generally when I'm in my real life and I leave my apartment and I go to classes, I usually just use liquid lipstick. I feel like for me, those really don't tend to bleed, so I feel like I don't really need lip liners, so I would be totally fine with finishing up these guys and getting this down to 0, but we'll see. And then for bullet lipsticks, the only one that I currently have on the go is a mini, and again, I'm pretty close to finishing that, so I might at some point purchase one or two like nude ones for every day, but I don't see this changing a whole lot either. Then for liquid lipsticks, I have 4 right now, and once I finish these 2 Sephora cream ones, I will probably replace them with something different in like a good everyday shade, because my 2 newer ones are both from KVD and those are both bold colors. So I would like to repurchase the first 2 once I finish them up, but probably no time soon. And then for lip gloss, I haven't purchased lip gloss in a while. I only have 1. I would like to get 1 or 2 more with different undertones just to work with some different eye looks, but I know that once I get back to in-person classes, I'm pretty unlikely to start using lip gloss again, so I don't want to buy more than I can feasibly use up for the next little while, just because I know that I'm unlikely to reach for them once things get back to some semblance of normalcy, so I'm capping myself at like 3. Then for miscellaneous lip products, I have a Sephora lip scrub in a stick form, which I wanted to see if that would help with my dry lips in the winter. I haven't really noticed much difference, so I don't feel any need to expand this past having a lip balm in pretty much every bag. So yeah, max 1 or 2 at the end of the year. Then for nail polish, I have a total of 14, including a base coat and a top coat. So I do have two of these are chopping block items, pending if any of my friends want them. And then I have a few that I'm trying to finish up just so I can focus on using the newer ones before they thicken up and I can't use them anymore, especially my A. England ones, because I did. Those were not cheap, and I do want to get as much use out of them as possible. So yeah, I would like to get this down to around 10 by the end of the year, which I think is semi-doable, especially because I wear nail polish most weeks. So for hair products, I have 5. There's only a few uses left in the Manic Panic, so I should be able to finish that up pretty soon. And then I'll be working on the Aussie Scrunch Spray. I am sort of trying to transition my hair to being more curly because there definitely is a curl pattern, and I know that I'll probably need to purchase some new products just to help hold things, but I'm telling myself I can't do that until I finish up at least 2 of these. So I would like to get this down to around 3 by the end of the year, and at least finish up 2 before I repurchase anything. For my total collection, I have a grand total of 82 items with 160 pans. So I don't really have any goals for pan percentages or numbers that I would like to use up. I would like to finish my 22 to finish items. I also know that if I purchase a few more eyeshadow palettes, the increase in pans will probably offset that, so we'll see. I'm just going to try to use everything that I have in my collection and enjoy it, and then I'll just see where I am in 12 months. Thanks for watching. Bye.